That was freaking amazing. And that was some intro footage for Star Citizen CitizenCon 2017 event. I basically chopped down, I watched it live. I'm going to chop down their video and let Chris and the developers do most of the talking. I just want to chop it down so it's kind of easy to digest if you haven't been following the game in a long time, to see where their technology is at now. All their technology is pretty much custom built. They're building the foundation so they can then spread within the game. And yeah, what they showed was amazing. This is the Saber Raven, and this is a limited exclusive tied in with Intel and Intel's new Optane SSD. And it's an exclusive, so you buy the Optane SSD, you can get this ship. So kind of pricey, but you know, it's pretty cool technology for this SSD, so you know, we'll see where that goes. Before we get started on the Planet Tech, I want to show you, I just fired up the game. This is what it looks like today. If you were going to Area 18 and play, it's basically a skybox. If you were to look out the windows of Area 18, and it's basically a skybox with these ships and these buildings and all this stuff right here in the background, the moon, everything. It's all faked and baked in. And this was all just placeholder for the technology. I want to let it speak for itself, so here you go.
Here we go, on the main flying pass. So, very Blade Runner-esque we got going. So this is a Terrapin, which again isn't in 3.0, but is going to be just after 3.0.
That looks just freaking amazing. What you're seeing here is a revamped Aurora and the new engine or heads-up display management and interaction system. So basically you can have different panels that you look around, turn on different features and functions of your ship, such as your engine. Your doors will have different options. So this is the new interaction system that you're seeing here. And yeah, the rest just can speak for itself when it goes to the takeoff. Enjoy.
Not sure we're going to let you actually get this close to the populated areas, but we'll let you guys do it.
Overview, please.
So, what you're seeing here is ArcCorp, which is essentially a full-size, Earth-size planet, completely covered with man-made structures, and at a real scale. So you're seeing everything to the horizon, fully covered. You can basically fly all over ArcCorp. So you can see off in the distance another city club. So that up in the distance is area 17, and we're flying over the suburbs now. So this is pretty much Coruscant. And this is our engine wizards in the Frankfurt office. Who's doing this? So Marco Corbetta and Alex Ramati, who will be out here in a bit. And actually area 17 over there is about 25 kilometers in the distance. So we're just gonna
I'm gonna speed this up for a little bit as they traverse over to Area 17, but holy shit!
Such a big planet and the detail and the scale that we're going for, we sort of feel like it has to be more than just one landing zone or two landing zones and then nothing else on the rest of the planet. So it has to feel believable at the scale of our universe. And that's always quite a challenge, but some of the technology that we've been building is allowing us to do that, as you can sort of see from the visuals that we're flying around here, where we literally have a planet covered by a city. And right, and that little red, the red cluster you see up there is actually the Pyro system. So when we leave Stanton, that will be one of our destinations. As you sort of see. Yeah.
So as they flew to this station and landed on this these stations that orbit around this planet, when he hopped out, and he goes to just take it all in. It's just, man, it's just truly. I mean, it's all inspiring, man. To be honest with you, just the technology of where they've come to this game and just how it's shaping up, and the core systems are all starting to just come together. It takes a lot of work. It takes years, but it's just finally starting to really pay off, and you can see where the immersion and just the whole thing is it's just amazing. And I have no doubt they can pull this off, but man, just look at that.
And again, this would be, like I said, one of the places where cargo would come in, it would be unloaded, and then there would be NPCs or a player could potentially take smaller amounts down. But to give you an idea of this is, the beauty of the sort of Star Citizen 64-bit precision is like we fully, it's all there. We're up here on a space station looking down on the planet.
So yeah, that just looks freaking amazing. And as they are going to jump to another planet called Hurston, show what it looks like, the developers decided to go and explain how they build these massive scale cities and the tool sets that they have custom created to do so.
All right, so the first one I want to talk a little bit about is our procedural city generator. So here, it's a top-down sort of tool that we've built for the artists and the designers, and what they basically do, they draw the perimeters of all their districts. Now, I realize it looks a little bit about like Minesweeper or even like a SimCity kind of look, but actually that's a really nice interface to this kind of thing. So you see what he's actually done here is all the T's are little transportation districts, and all the little yellow H's are actually an elevated area. So these are different districts with different properties within them. And it's important that all those districts connect to each other because, of course, if we got NPCs living there, that's going to be an important point. Then we hit fill the city layout, and this is when all the models and everything starts to get propagated. But I should mention, it's not just models, it's particle effects, it's NPCs, it's shops, it's signs, it's all kinds of different content that really make the game for you. The other important part of it is being able to set, the actual districts. So it's things like commercial, residential, industrial, and you might have heard of these before. And he sets different heights. These ones are suburban areas, or suburb areas. And this is where, the NPCs will live. It'll be different habitation sort of areas. And then we hit Save City Layout, and we've got our city. So, it's a really exciting tool set. And again, this comes from lots of artwork and really, really, really intelligent engineers. So the next piece of that puzzle is building up the interiors to this. So keeping that same concept in mind, we load up a different tool set. And this one is we call it our layout editor. So this is our interior layout editor, and it can be used for all kinds of things. So here is our data forge editor. You might have seen this on ATV before. And this is where we set up all our real meaningful data. So these are different libraries that are used. But for the artists and designers, what they actually use is a flow graph system. And each of those boxes or nodes are actually rooms. And each of the connections are hallways or doors or elevators and things like this. And you can see that all the rooms are connected in a certain way and in a meaningful gameplay way. So those are elevator shafts. We might have a mission giver room. We might have a treasure room. We might have a pickup room. We might have a secret room. There's all sorts of different properties that go within them. Once we've got that flow graph, we go to our editor, we load that flow graph, then we give it a deterministic seed, and click OK, and the tools go ahead and build that environment for us. So now, an artist or a designer could absolutely build this. There's no reason why they couldn't. But there's a lot to do here. So you've got to connect walls. You've got to put lights in. You've got to place NPCs. Even some kind of technical things. We've got to place atmosphere areas. We have our room system. We have a power system. And one of the problems with that is that, it's a little prone to error. So like, oh, if I forgot my link, I didn't name it right, or whatever. Or I used an art kit that the art team wasn't quite ready for, things like this. So it kind of mitigates that problem. But you can see there's very meaningful content. And we've got a level of like Port Olisar already generated within a couple minutes. And again, design or an artist could absolutely do this. But again, we've got to fill a massive amount of content here. So he explores around a little bit. We can see that there was a shop earlier. I think we might have gone through Kasaba, check that out. And the other thing about it is a lot of these sort of systems will only generate like a certain one floor. But again, if we put like a stairs node within it, we're going to get different levels. So here we load a different flow graph. This one is a different procedural seed, and it builds up right again. So again, we can regenerate and regenerate and regenerate so many different sets of these interiors. All right, so that's the second piece of the puzzle. And the third piece of the puzzle, and one of the more exciting ones, you want to run the next video, is integrating it into our planet ecosystems. So the ecosystems, and what happens in this video is we're changing some of the properties just off screen of the ecosystem scattering. So it actually scatters all of these assets, so again, the cities plus the interiors within them, and it integrates them seamlessly into the ArcCorp cities. So you can see there's Area 17 in the background, kind of looks like LA with the smog. But we changed some of these different properties, and you can see the scattering happens over and over.
So yeah, that was pretty cool technology. And that was kind of a dry section, but I wanted you guys to understand just how they have built custom tools to be able to, populate and build massive scale cities like that at relatively what seemed like at ease, but that's because they spent the time, the development, and the resources needed to build the tools to be able to flesh out planets and systems and such. So I'll let this go. They are now getting on to Hurston. It's taken about, I think they said 8 minutes. Last time I was on the video, it was like about 8 minutes to get there. So not a super long jump, but or drive from one planet to another, but relatively speaking, 8 minutes kind of is a long time in your real life, but it kind of adds to the depth and the size of the universe. If you had it too small, it just would feel like a small board game. So 8 minutes to me is not that bad going from one planet to the other. They will say that you can be interdicted along the way, so it's not just 8 minutes of boredom. All sorts of things could pop up for you to do along the way. So yeah, here's Hurston.
person. You can actually see in the distance the big Hurston Dynamic. It's sort of like the Tyrell building from Blade Runner. So that's the main area, and actually when you land in Hurston, that's where you're likely to land, and it has all these beautiful shops inside, and it's all nice, but the outside of it's all kind of smog and factories and polluted air. So let's fly up through. And again, Lorville's built using the same tech. It's a different kind of building set for a lot of it, but it's using the same sort of distribution tech that we do to sort of build out a city at a realistic scale for the ships that we have in the games, which is kind of important for our game because we want to have everything feel real, visceral, tactile. Find one that's not rock. There you go. So here we are, we're down on the ground, and actually you can sort of see the large structures off in the distance, which maybe didn't look so big when we're flying over them, but really actually are quite massive. And this is kind of like the kind of tundra area outside Lorville. And let's go for a little run. And again, this is sort of what our goal is to try to kind of deliver the kind of, on foot, first person, crisis level of detail for the environments that you're in, but, doing a lot of it procedurally and, on a planetary scale. So it's quite challenging, but I'm, very confident that we're going to deliver all that goal. And, the team we have doing it, who, a lot of them were here giving a talk earlier, are incredibly talented. And I'm pretty excited by the potential. I mean, we've got a lot to go in terms of building further ecosystems, also creating fauna for planets. So there's a sense of wildlife. Some could be hostile, some could be passive. But we essentially want to make these planets living places that feel visceral, that have their own identity. When you go to ArcCorp or you go to Hurston, they feel totally different. They match with the sort of story and the history and the lore. And they feel tactile. They feel like a place that you could visit, a place that you could go and tell stories of, and take pictures of, or share for your friends. So someone's conveniently left us a Nox. So you can use that to get a bit closer into the city.
Systems activating. Systems on.
And when you come to a place like Lorville or a place like ArcCorp, it has to feel like, it has millions of people in it, because these cities are that scale, and that's sort of what we're used to. And so we're working very hard to build background systems to be able to do that, scale it, create them on demand, and create a realistic feeling location on whatever planet you're visiting. So as you can see, there's the Hurston Dynamics main building off in the distance. So it's again, that gives you a sense of like the scope and the scale of the city really is compared to what we're doing now.
So yeah, guys, that's the majority of the footage I wanted to show you guys in a chopped down, compressed state. Still pretty long, but I figured you guys would like it. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. I can't wait for 3.0 to come out fairly soon TM. Hoping, please, before Christmas, please say. See you guys in the verse.